Okay guys, so excuse the hair. I've only just woken up and it's been a rough few days. You probably saw on my Instagram and on other social medias that I had to go in for an emergency diagnostic laparoscopy. I was in so much pain in my abdomen and my groin, and there was just so much wrong that they had to go in and investigate there and then. And so I'm going to make a little video soon, whether that's today or in a few days, just explaining what happened and what's going on. But I went in and today is the second day post-surgery, and so skip on the next few seconds if you don't like gory things, because I'm about to show you my tummy. So this is my stomach 2 days post-operation. It's still very swollen from the gas, and this incision that they made here is definitely the sorest. This one isn't giving me too much grief, but this one is keeping me up at night, and so it is still very sore, but I am shifting the gas, if you know what I mean. Sorry, Bobbie. Okay, this is 3 days post-operation. You can see where I've taken off the dressings, that's like the sticky stuff, and the bruising is definitely coming out now in my belly button. And yeah, there is the cross stitch that they done. Still pretty bloated, but I'm getting there. Okay guys, so as I said in the clip that you've probably just seen, I'm now sat down 3 days post-operation. And I am going to do a kind of story time of the last few days, what's happened, and why I had to be taken in to hospital for an emergency diagnostic laparoscopy. So basically, I'd been out with Emma for a walk and a drive on Thursday. Thursday just gone. I'll insert the dates here because I still really don't know what day I'm on. But we'd been out for a drive and a walk, and I started getting some pelvic cramps, and I thought, oh, it might just be period pain or wind. I thought it could have been trapped wind, and got back to mum's and had a cup of tea with mum, and the pain just wasn't subsiding. I'd had paracetamol and stuff like that, so we decided that I'll just come home, have a nice hot soak in the bath, and keep up with the pain meds and see how I go. So Bobbie was working that evening until 10, and so I was just home here, and the pain was getting worse, so I took some codeine as well, and that wasn't helping. And at this point it was getting hard to find a comfortable position to sit in. I couldn't sit still, I couldn't stand and walk around. It was really painful, and then at this point it was kind of really scaring me, and I'd never felt pain like it. The only other pain that I can compare it to was when I had my appendix out in 2015. It was excruciating. I can't even explain to you on camera what the pain was like. By this point, I'd let, obviously, mum knew that I wasn't right, and I let Bobbie know that I was really kind of upset and worried, and that would she be able to get home any earlier than 10 p.m, because I just wanted her to be here with me. And so my mum had suggested that I call the Devon Doctors 111 service. It wasn't a 999 emergency thing, but I needed some out of hours advice on what to do for my pain, and yeah, I just knew something wasn't right. And I don't usually like calling those numbers because I know they're kind of for like proper serious things, but this was proper serious for me because I'd never experienced pain like this before, and my whole I just, you know, when you have a pain and you're trying to rub it better, I was rubbing my tummy, but it was everywhere, and I just couldn't rub my ache, if you see what I mean. So Bobbie's work, bless them, they actually did get cover for her so she could come home and be home with me. And by the time Bobbie got home, I was on the phone to like the Devon doctors, and I was being passed between paramedics, and they didn't know whether to send out an ambulance for me. And then I'd speak to the paramedics and they'd send me back to speak to another operator. So they were just going backwards and forwards, until a doctor rang me back and said that I would have to be seen because I'd need to be examined, and they'd need to like touch my tummy and do all of those kind of things. But the only problem is that I could either do it in Honiton or Exeter. They didn't have anything in my hometown where I live, so it would have meant getting in a car, and obviously me and Bobbie don't drive, so I had to get Mum to come and pick us up to take me to this out of hours doctor. When I got to the Centre for Women's Health, I was put into a little side room where I obviously got given my my wristband, like with my name and like my allergies and stuff on it. I was immediately told that I would be staying overnight, and that the surgeons would be coming to speak to me shortly. They got me on a paracetamol drip. They got me taking morphine, like orally. It was just like all go. It happened so quickly, but they were really good with trying to get my pain under control. A lady doctor then came in after I was like hooked up to things and had taken some morphine, and she wanted to do an internal examination, and so she got a chaperone, which is another person who comes and stands with her while she does the examination, and that really hurt. I think she had to put like 2 fingers inside of me and then push down on my stomach, and she was like going to the left, going to the right, checking up on my womb. And oh my goodness, I was crying my heart out. I can't even explain to you what that pain was like. I just knew something was wrong. Even think about it now, it makes me want to cry, because I just remember the amount of pain that I was in when she was doing that. So after she finished the examination, I was then told that I had a room that was separated from everyone else on the ward, and that I needed to be tested for COVID-19. So and then another lady came in and she did the COVID test, which was bloody awful. I had the swab at the back of the throat and then the 2 swabs up the nose where they go really far. And yeah, that made me cry. I don't know whether I was crying because that hurt or whether I was still in pain. I was just sick of people prodding me and like poking me with needles and taking blood. And so once that was all out the way, I was then told, you have a room to yourself, we're going to take you there now and get you comfortable in bed. So once I was in that bed, I was given a hospital gown, because I obviously just came in like my day clothes, and they said that they're just going to control the pain overnight, and in the morning I will be having an ultrasound, and it's probably going to be an internal one so they can get a better view of my ovaries and my fallopian tubes. So I was on and off sleeping. When I say sleeping, I was dozing. I had my eyes closed, but I could still hear everything that was going on. And it was about 2:30 in the morning, and a lady came in and she said, "Hiya, you probably don't recognise me with all my PPE on and my mask and things like that." She said, "But I am," and I'm not going to mention names, but she is the fertility doctor who me and Bobbie went and saw in February. And honestly, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my God, it's really good to see you." She said, "Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's a shame it's under these circumstances." But at the same time, I'm glad that it was her, because she knew my history of my PCOS. She knew about all my pains that I'd had previously before this flare-up. So yeah, she was the one at that appointment that we had with her back in February that said, we would like you to have a diagnostic laparoscopy and a dye test on your tubes. So yeah, I thought, well, this is great, because she is going to push to get the answers as to why I'm in this much pain. So again, she did more pushing and prodding on my tummy, yeah, so back to where I was. It was about 2:30 in the morning, and she said, "Let's take you for a scan now. I want to get you scanned." And so we did. We went. There was her, a male doctor, another lady. There was like 3 or 4 of them stood around this bed, and they were all looking while they went in and like looked at my ovaries from the inside, and it felt like that she was in me with that probe thing for ages. I was just so sore and crying, and yeah, not nice. But nothing came of that. All they saw that my ovaries were bloated and they were polycystic, but I already knew that. I got sent back to my bed, and they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll repeat your bloods and repeat that scan again in early in the morning and see what kind of night you've had pain wise. Hopefully your pain would have died down because of the morphine and all the drugs that we're giving you, and we're hoping this doesn't come to surgery, but it did. So 8 o'clock I was woken up by yet another doctor, or nurse should I say, and she was a bit of a cow. She just came in and said, right, can I scan you? So I was like, yeah. So I hobbled off the bed as best as I could and walked into this room. She scanned me again. She obviously did what they did early hours of the morning. Couldn't see anything. She said, well, I can't see anything, so I'll pass what I found on to whoever she was passing it on to and see where we go from there. So I was like, okay. Anyway, my pain was still super bad. Even the morphine at this point wasn't touching me. And so the fertility doctor, who I obviously recognised, came in and she said, look, because of your pain, we are going to operate. It will be today. It will be under an emergency, and I need you to sign this consent form. And by then my heart just sunk, and I was reading the consent form, and it was saying things like, if we do find anything in you, like if I needed an ovary removed, if I needed any of my tubes removed, that I was consenting for them to get rid of it. And I was not happy, but I just know that I needed that surgery. After that, I then got my sexy stockings on. I changed into another gown with like where my bare bum was out the back so they could get to everything when I was on the table. And before I knew it, I was being taken down to the anaesthetic room. So this was on the Friday, and yeah, it went from there. I got put to sleep. I had it done. I woke up, and yeah, this is what I mean. This is how I felt for the last few days. They found nothing when they went in and did my laparoscopy. They even did the dye test while I was asleep. So all of the surgery that I was meant to be having anyway through the fertility treatment me and Bobbie are having, I'd had it done, just under really bizarre circumstances and not in the circumstances that we wanted to, because I wanted Bobbie there. I wanted it to be planned. I didn't want to be in pain. I didn't want any of that. But at the same time, I've just got to look at it as, I've had that surgery now. I'm not going to have to go through it again, hopefully. And we can just look forward now to whatever the future holds. But obviously, it's a really good positive thing that they didn't find anything wrong while they were in there looking. But at the same time, it still doesn't give me any answers as to why I was in that much pain. So yeah, this is how I am at the moment. I'm just so blown away at what's happened over the last few days, and I was scared. I wanted Bobbie there. I wanted my mum. Yeah. The surgery, all in all, I was told took about 45 minutes because obviously they didn't find anything while they were in there. They didn't have to remove anything. And I remember waking up in recovery, and recovery is always pretty rubbish for me after anaesthetic. I'm always sick. I'm always highly emotional. Yeah, but I was able to ring Bobbie in recovery, which was really, really nice. And then I was let home hours later in that day. I think Mum came and picked me up at about 8 or 9 at night again, or it could have been a bit earlier. I can't remember. This is what I mean. I've just lost days. I've lost hours. But here I am at home recovering, and I'm super glad to be home because every day is getting better. I'm able to stand up more straight without the worrying that my 2 little scars are going to split open. I know that's really gory and sounds really stupid, but that's what I worry about. But every day, like I say, it's getting easier, and it was only a minor operation. I've got 2 little incisions, one in my belly button and one in my left hand side. But I'll do little updates on my Instagram. And yeah, just I'll keep you guys updated. Onwards and upwards, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.